All right, greetings. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so continue on from yesterday. See, I got 2 years where I'll be walking around like little light brights, flying around or ultra powers or whatever that is. Sure. Now, those that are crossing over will probably live that. But for the rest of us, yeah, we're left behind, you can say. Somebody's got to do it, right? It's funny, some of us are going to outlive everybody. It's a horror movie. Yeah, so many are trying to stay alive forever. And some of us are ready to leave tomorrow. And we're going to be here forever. Gotta love it. So 2037, the golden age. So apparently that apparition was brought up like 3 years ago. So you can look it up on YouTube and know what I'm talking about. So like a message from Sirius, which is basically a manipulation. I mean, first off, where does that even come from? That's a long time. I mean, a lot of people that hear that and probably believe it probably die between now and then. It's so it's a false prophet energy, basically. I mean, that's one way to do advertising and all that. I wasn't going to go into this again, but it's kind of like it's a major manipulation because you can be the messenger of that message and become so far gone into your BS, basically. You get so believe in your own whatever that is that you're believing, and you maybe even get possessed by it. Who knows? So going. I mean, it's been thousands of years of of what's happening here now, and you're not really seeing indication of things getting better. Well, you should see a massive change. You shouldn't have to lock your doors anymore. People should be easier to approach, talk about anything. The vibrations should be a lot lighter right now. If any truth was to any of that, humanity has to want to do it though. It's not just going to happen. So 2037 is obviously an exit point for people, but then again, every year is an exit point for people. So some of them might, whatever. It's just more hot air, basically. It sounds nice. Some aren't that spiritually developed, obviously. Even those that have these big conferences and all that, and have all these connections, are still not really there. They might be upscale, but spiritually advanced is not happening. They might say they are, but not really. So now after believing all this nonsense, especially the whole 2 years thing, we're all going to be superpowers and all that, it gets better and better. But yet they let these people on their podcast and everything. It's hilarious. That says a lot about the spiritual community. I mean, how can you take the spiritual community? At least those that are bringing that type of energy into their world, how can you take them seriously? You can't. Now the message from Sirius, I'll give you my point of view of it, is kind of messed up. It's Kansas. I have to look it up. I forget. It's like minor or major. I can't pronounce it. Candace major. It has a stupid name. But anyway. Well, it's like canine, minor, major, kind of like that. Anyway, Sirius is not just. I'm just going by where this message is coming from, but Sirius is pretty much the constellation itself. It just calls something else, but it's basically a constellation. There are some planets that are really nice, and some planets are pieces of shit. And the pieces of shit planets. Those beings came here. It's been invaded by Orion beings. So, you go high vibrational human, 10th dimension, whatever, and then you get attacked or whatever, or you want to explore more, so you go lower frequency and more physical. So it's like, you're built, it's to prepare you for this world. Yeah, you go into preparation. It's a challenge. I mean, it doesn't mean it's a bad or good thing. It's just what you need for your own growth. A lot of Egyptian energies come from there. Of course, you have a lot of canine energies that come there. But then again, you look at the canine canines can be manipulated, through breeding. You have this nice puppy dog, nice thing in the world. You can do some messed up breeding, and now you have the devil. Isn't that like the human? So, of course, cats had the same deal, but I think dogs are more weaponized than cats. You can't get a cat to fight in a cage with other cats. I guess you could. It's not the same thing. But dogs, dog fighting and all that, it's like people. It's just in dog form. So, but a place like Sirius, that's for example. There's other places too, but Sirius is just basically the road to our world, and we have a lot of their problems. And they call it Sirius for a reason too. It's kind of, this world is not very joyful a lot of times, depending on where you are. So we have a lot of serious energy because a lot of people are very serious here. So that's one way of looking at it too. It's a place with a lot of problems. That's all. And you get false messages like that by 2037. There is an artificial intelligence energy connected to that, which is interesting. I mentioned that. When this first came out, I talked about it a little bit, but now I'm kind of like going over the hardcore on it because it took a while for it to sink in. A lot of people probably forgot about it, but still. And so you can become a false prophet and really believe your own nonsense and become really evil, actually. But then you're saying you're coming off with these good intentions, and you're actually becoming the villain and not even knowing it. When you do stuff like that, when you're saying messages like that are not right, you can put on a nice persona, but you can slowly become really bad. So, you can do a search for that. Just 2037 golden age. You'll find out what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. And also faces of nature. And speaking of, I don't know if I'm pronounced Cthulhu or whatever his name, Cthulhu, whatever. I've been feeling that energy around recently. And that's another warm and fuzzy frequency out there. I think that thing can be a thing. I think that thing can be nice and also going to be a piece of shit. So, it's kind of like Sirius. But it feels like an Orion frequency connected to Mars, things like that, can be connected to people in their nightmares and all that. Jeez. But I feel I'll bring him out there, just like the deluge and all that, just might as well call the thing out. He wants to be loved by everyone. Hollywood embraced it. Cthulhu, so it's part of a lot of horror movies and all that. Yeah, lovely. I'm not going to go too deep into that energy, but I'll give you some. It's think about it's like exploring. We'll get that. Well, educating, maybe that's a better word for it. Yeah, I'm not trying to push this on anybody or anything like that. These things need to freaking go somewhere else. I can see Cthulhu part of human trafficking and all that too. It's a darker side of it. There's a lighter side and a darker side. There is definitely a light. There's a light and dark to everything. So, and faces in nature is basically, you see a rock formation, you see a face, you see, anything in nature, like a human face, because it shows their consciousness that's there. So that's neat. I looked for other examples. I didn't find a whole lot actually, but I don't have time to go hunt for everything. Like some mountain formations, you turn it around, you see a human face there, or you might even see Mother Earth's face. From what I'm gathering with that, which is cool. So we're not alone. But that's the higher dimensional state we're going into. Well, these ideas, you call one way to look at. Not this whole 2037 nonsense. It's just fuck that. But God, it's such nonsense. It's almost like a portal that's connected to it. I'm trying to manifest it. There is a cult-like energy connected to it. It's just more mind control, more mind fuckery. Gotta love it, right? Like I say, you put a message out like that. You start believing your own nonsense, and it gets worse and worse, and you become the villain. So yeah, and then you start defending yourself, and yada yada yada. It's like, I'm not. Believe whatever the hell you want. I don't care. You want to believe 2 years ago to be a light, bright being? Go for it. And that might be true. Might not be here in the physical. It might be somewhere else. Who knows? Because even some of these positive realities that you can go to, some of those can be really manipulated too. Like you die, leave here, go somewhere that's messed up. So doesn't mean it's always the case. With some cases that can happen. As well as got it all. You don't have to get trapped, but some do. Yeah, some like when it connect to like religions push for heaven. So you go, oh wow, look, it's heaven, and it finds out it's a trap. Yeah, it's messed up. As people are already aware of that, obviously, right? Yeah, it's like you try to leave this world, and it's still more nonsense. You can't even leave this world peacefully. I mean, you can just put your intentions, you work on it. Before you leave the world, you kind of you prepare. It's unless you like die in a car accident or something like that, then that's the unknown. But you pretty much prepare with your angels and everything. You pretty much that's why it takes a while, uh, depending on the person. If you already know where you're gonna go, you're gonna go. But others kind of feed out all the nonsense before, like you like choose like different realities to go to, and eventually find the right one to go to, maybe. So it's not as I think people do test it out before they leave. And it's like, wait a minute, is this messed up? I gotta check it out first. And then they come back and wake up. It's like, wow, we thought you were dead. I almost was. So it's another way of looking at it. It's just not to have fear of death, but what's your version of reality you're going to go to? And yeah, it's weird. Well, either way, it's part of the experience wherever you end up. Yeah, it's a mess here. Well, they want to keep you here physical too. Gotta love it. So I have a ton of coming for sessions. We have the schedule here. We have the shop here. Yeah, I just got into October, but I'm still in September somewhere. So I'm not done with September. So it's nice and slow. Same situation here. We have the voyage to Sedona. I haven't even told my job that I'm going to be doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. The price increases in November. Yeah, and the prices are here somewhere. There's also some instructions about it too. And these are the other speakers that are going to be there. And you have the, whoops, I just threw myself out. I do that. How many times have I done that? And then webinars, social network and behind the scenes. And then we're almost at 2037. Just wait a second. So that's kind of weird. Not sure what that's about. But yeah, that obviously is fake. But I think some of these are real overall. I'm not sure about that one. That looks pretty real. Yeah, there's little rock formations that are showing some kind of face. It's neat stuff. Imagine if you do a deep dive into it, you'll find all kinds of stuff. Not sure what the hell I'm looking at there. I'm not sure if that's very friendly. No. Anyway. Cthulhu, yeah, nice, wonderful, warm and fuzzy Cthulhu, whatever his name is, something like that. Yeah, lovely. Having a bad day, are we? But yeah, it's kind of like a dark entity. But I feel like there's also nicer ones too. They're not all bad, but yeah, it's good to protect your energy from these little fuckers anyway. Yeah, think about battling this type of thing in space. don't know what the hell that is. It's like some kind of portal thing going on. Gee, you gotta love it. Gee, talk about, geez. Of course, Hollywood embraces it because Hollywood's pretty much possessed at this point, as usual. Oh, that's right. It was Davy. Was it Davy Jones? Yeah, it's just a big comedy. Yuck. So, anyway, with Sirius, yeah, it's Kansas. Yeah, the Kansas major and all that, but it's basically a dog. Yeah, it's just pretty much canine major, basically. But it is dominated by Sirius. It is practically Sirius, though. So it just, yeah, it's the brightest star, but it's also kind of running the show. It's also Kansas Minor, whatever the hell that is. It's here anyway. That's the same thing, though. It's just, yeah, it's the same shit. So, yeah, a lot of Egyptian energies come there from there. It's like a lot of people act like canines. They're like a hybrid, but they're in human form here. So, well, I've got into too much detail on that. Everything's a human avatar. That's obviously the biggest issue here. So, anyway, so we have 2037, the golden age, the false prophet frequency. Like I say, the person that said that is slowly becoming the villain and not even knowing it. You can think you're doing the right thing, but are you doing the right thing? So, yeah, I gotta love that. But like I said, I'm not trying to bash anybody that's believing in these type of things. If you want to believe that in the next 2 years you're going to be flying in the sky, sure, more power to you on that. But realize if that doesn't happen, don't be too surprised. And same thing with whole 2037. 2037, I have a while for that. And how many are going to really survive? How many people are going to be, first of all, thinking about it? It's like the perfect number for those that are probably not going to live that long to even see that. So, just more manipulation. Just gotta love it. I don't know. It's like the spiritual community is building up for more of that, unfortunately. Unless those that have a large platform call it out and not allow it to be on their, and call out others, maybe not by name, but saying, like, this is all nonsense. Good luck with that. Like, my channel is suppressed like a bastard. It's completely suppressed. I mean, no matter what I do, it's suppressed. So, but others don't have that. I mean, they say their channel is suppressed. Yeah, I have no idea what suppression is. Yeah, I have it like double, triple version of it. So, that's funny how they say their channels are being shadow banned. Like, you don't know what shadow banning is like. Yeah, Faces of Nature and Cthulhu, or however you pronounce his name. Whatever. Yeah, that little sucker would give people nightmares, that's for sure. I mean, it's like the thing just has a bad day. He's been programmed. It's kind of like a reptilian being. He has a lot of similarities. Just another big baddie out there. Now, it came from Lovecraft. And I think Lovecraft has been a Cthulhu in his past too. So why else can you come up with something like that? So anyway, all right, we're going to the golden age. We'll give you a perspective of it. Just give you a perspective of it. Like I say, you can believe it whatever the hell you want. There's no worries on that. And do as you must do. And Faces of Nature. And Cthulhu, or however you pronounce his name. All right, blessings. Here we go. Greetings. We are consciousness from spirit. So of course you believe, yes, whatever you wish to believe. But some people of your collective want to feel the world will become a better place, become a paradise. So it's not always a manipulation. Some actually believe things will improve, always want to. But there is this false expectations. It's just yes, the soul can go to a delusion and manifest that delusion, as you were saying. And that is part of the manipulation of this reality, because they want you to get away from this reality and go into a false reality. That way, those that are causing difficulties can cause it, and the others are saying everything's going to get better, but actually things are not getting better. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of whitewashing reality. So all things are going to get better. Oh, we just have to get closer to this year, and then nothing really happens, and the whole thing gets polluted. So humans aren't really at that level of that sophistication to be able to heal and block and manipulation like that, because you don't normally hear a number like that. You don't normally hear a manipulation until you go through it. So this is how you grow. So some do fall for these situations like any other scam, but it's part of growth. So why the spirit world allows this is because that's the soul. What the soul needs for its journey. It's just, that's why I have scammers on call centers and all that. The soul it has a choice, and it chooses to fall for it. That's the journey it takes to figure itself out. And sometimes you need several lifetimes to get yourself out of those situations. So you have to learn somewhere. Yeah, these are beings that are causing difficulties here. Do everything they can to keep you locked down, to cause you, chaos. See, so many are becoming, bring their energy to a higher frequency, but they don't always know what to do with it. They're not always, just because you're a higher frequency doesn't mean you know how to handle it, protect yourself. There's still a lot to learn there, and obviously the darker forces are showing that. So that's why you come here, to go through all these battles, these turbulations, get beat up and make the wrong decisions to improve yourself so you don't fall for situations like this. But obviously you can see these timelines are continuing, because some have not, obviously many have not learned just yet. And of course you see this for religions also, which is probably one of the biggest tricksters on their planet. Is just false expectations. Now, there is some soul growth that goes on. Oh, there's a lot of soul growth that goes on there, but eventually the soul figures out how to grow. Sometimes, yes, it takes years or lifetimes for a soul to figure out one lesson, as some of you know. And obviously, sometimes with a scam, like you just get charged falsely, and that's at least, hopefully, there you learned. It's a quick lesson, but sometimes some of these situations take years. So it's just, a lot of souls here, they like the vibration of positivity, but they're not always aware of where it's taking them. It can take you to a false light. And it's happened on this planet over and over again. They just make it just enough attractiveness, just enough to hook you in, and they get pulled into it. It's like listening to music that has a manipulative tone to it. It's the same thing. But to break free of that is not easy, as you know. And people go through these type of messages, like with the 2037, or the relationships. That happens a lot with that. You connect to a cool operator, and then when you get close to that person, everything turns dark. Same situation. There's just different ways of experiencing it. Relationships obviously are the heaviest, because you attribute a lot to it, and they can be the most hurtful. But once again, there's a lot of lessons to learn there. Lessons. Grease you, we have the elemental beings. Grease you, yes, elf frequency. Faces of nature. Well, Mother Earth has her own kind of riddles, her little kind of jokes for people to see the human element. Basically, the human energy is wrapped around this Earth's frequency. The human is beloved, but he has tested the most. So it shows also the Mother Earth is becoming more human. Well, at least to eventually she will show herself here in the physical. Now she does through nature as it is. You are seeing parts of her frequency, of course, but eventually she'll be seen here as a being and live among you, and you'll be able to connect with her much easier. But right now, she's just within the forest, within the oceans, the sound of even your reality. When you start seeing Mother Earth, so if you see these type of faces, it shows you actually are getting close to Mother Earth's frequency, at least to a certain level. And eventually, yeah, it means she's talking to you. It doesn't mean it has to be a strong connection. It doesn't mean it has to be this heartfelt connection, but it is part of you're at least you're seeing, beyond the human, viewpoints, and you're seeing things, the humor of this earth. And yes, it is a physical, it has a lot of test energies connected to it, but that's also, yes, all this negativity here is to build this world the way it is. Well, because the world is a physical entity, it wants to stay alive. So to do that is to keep souls incarnating here as human or whatever, but as human, you're fueling it. So less souls that are here. Now, maybe you hear about less people, the better, but actually the more people, the better. It keeps fueling this reality. And the earth has a purpose. When people no longer want to, and souls that want to incarnate here, it kind of loses its purpose. And that's where it goes eventually to higher dimensions. And it's done what it needs to do. So Mother Earth is warning from all of you. And maybe she's learning too much at times, but she goes through the same tribulations that you do, which has a lot of darkness. So she's going through a lot of, traumas herself. That's a lot of healing she has to go through. Yeah, her family has been very brutal to her, and you're seeing that through society. So let's just. Greetings. This is Cthulhu consciousness of basically a being. Yes, it just feels like it can do anything, gets mad very easily. Some of you have parents connected to that frequency. Some of you've known people that are just kind of obsessive, want to control others, and just has not exactly the best attitude. Now, there are, yes, other Cthulhu energies that are a lot kinder. It's similar to like your Bigfoot, but as a creature being. Obviously, it's still very different, but some of you can relate to that energy. Some of you faced it. Some of you have relationships with it. Some, battled it, and so on. The energy, yes, it's here. It is part of some of their nightmares. It just wants to be known. There's different reasons. Yeah, sometimes it can be very soul distracting, can be soul sucking at times, but yes, there's a trickster energy, of course, connected to it. But it's up to you. It can cause nightmares, but once again, some of you made peace with this being, or it doesn't cause you difficulties. But others are still. It does keep a lot of the frequencies at a low energy. There is kind of an elitist energy. You're looking for your Illuminati frequencies. You kind of give an idea of what some of them might look like. They take that form because they don't want to show you what they really look like. Some Illuminati people are disformed. I mean, their faces are kind of mutated to a certain level. They might be this beautiful being, but their face is kind of distorted. I know that might not make a whole lot of sense for some of you, but the flu, I can't even say it, but this being is self-absorbing. It's a nightmare being, basically. It does storm through nature. It just wants to be known. Yes, it's connected to Mars, connected to other planets. And just basically a soul-sucking experience. Yeah, it goes into your astral. It can put you into a cage, but you can break out of it, though, if you want to. But it does keep a lot of souls here in prison. Yes, your horror movies and all that. That being does have contribution to that. To a certain level. It's not fully involved with it, but there is some influence there. But as you go more into the higher astral, the other astral realm, you see creature beings, that will be one that's definitely haunting this world. Like I say, you can do spell work to heal this energy, remove it. It can try to harness itself. Sometimes it's hurt, sometimes it's injured, sometimes it just doesn't know what it's doing. So it just finds humans to figure itself out, but it knows that it feels like humans are invading its space sometimes. They do a clearing of it. I don't have anything to worry from it. Blessings.